Hello everyone, my name is SpeeDMan, and this is my first YouTube video, and it's going to be dedicated more towards Civilization 6, and this series is going to be called the Let's Learn series, and it's going to be specifically about me learning and mastering the mechanics of Civilization 6, particularly within, of course, Gathering Storm, as it's more current, but I have played non-DLC. I'm a little bit familiar with the mechanics to a point where I can play a game. It's just more a matter of learning the strategies and all the different ways you can kind of play through the game. That's something I'm currently working on, and that's going to be the premise of the Let's Learn series. So today we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some single player, create a game. Now I'm only going to be, unless there's other challenges that I'm going to be going for later, in different videos, I'm going to be playing on deity, on standard map size. Map type, let's see, let's go with, continents and islands. That way it's a nice little mix. We're going to go with monopolies and corporations mode. And we're going to go to Lucky 13 for city-states. Leave the rest of these default. Victory types, I'm going to leave those as is. And we're going to go ahead and start game. So let's see who I roll. Hopefully it's one that I can have a nice open-ended kind of game. That way I can kind of like learn through that process.
From the first stirrings of life.
Okay, so this will likely be more of a domination game, I assume.
Stone Age. To man taking his first upright steps, you have come far.
So early game,
Now
this is
begins your
definitely useful
greatest
for just
from this
military
early cradle of
rotation and movement.
civilization on towards the
let's see
stars. You could have followed the whims of your colleagues, Simón Bolívar. But instead you chose to become the liberator. Hardships never
Okay,
dissuaded
so once
you.
I
So
get into the game here, I'm going to go ahead and click on Simón Bolívar. And let's see here. So, Campaña Admirable. Earn a Commandant General when the game enters new era. Okay, so this will be good for the movement. This is good for early game. This is definitely helpful, especially for scouts. Special type of great person only available to Simón Bolívar. Each has unique abilities, including a passive effect and retire effect. Llanero, Gran Colombian unique industrial era unit that replaces the cavalry. Low maintenance cost, 2 combat strength for every adjacent Llanero. Fully heals when in range of a commandant general that activates its retire ability. Okay, so these will go hand in hand with each other. Hacienda, let's see here. 2 gold, 1 production, and 0.5 housing. 1 food for every 2 adjacent plantations, increased to 2 every plantation with replaceable parts. Plantations and haciendas receive +1 production for every 2 adjacent haciendas, increased to every hacienda with rapid deployment. Can only be built on plains, plains hills, grassland, and grassland hills. Okay, so this is going to be more of like a basic game. Just more of a basic mechanical game, but that's okay. First things first, let's see what our yields. Okay, so what I might do is I might move up 1. Because that gives me a chance to get a better food yield tile to get some early growth. I know typically the premise is that you want to get faster early game growth, and getting a city to grow population faster and sooner is more important because you can take better advantage of different tiles. So move down 1. Okay, so there's likely a coastline here. This probably ends somewhere around here. It kind of wraps around. So that tells me I'm going to start pushing this guy east. Next thing here is go mining. So we do have quite a bit here present. And then afterwards, if necessary, I could probably do some animal husbandry. That can work there. But next turn, what I'll do is, first things first, settle. And then get scout. And then set to that, so that way I can get quick growth in the city and just remain with that. So basically what I'll do is I'll lock that, and as it grows more, it'll fill in some of these production tiles, so that'll be useful. So 3 movement, get him going that way and kind of take him around that direction. Yep, so as I expected, coastline here. So, not bad places to settle. I can settle some coastal cities here, maybe settle a city. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I won't be able to settle there, but I'll be able to settle in some of these areas. You know, settle maybe somewhere over here, over here. You know, depending on what's around here, what I might do is just as a reference point, I will go ahead and put a harbor hack here. And let's see here. This is actually not a bad city spot here. It's only 2 food. Might be better to settle over here. That way I get a little bit of production and that'll help. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, set a map tag for here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if I were to put like an industrial zone and or like an entertainment complex, that would be in range. So this has also good growth potential. This will be a nice population city, so that'll be a good second city to settle. I will go ahead and start really getting the scout going. What I'll do is I'll bring this
river
fella
has
east.
floodplains.
So it's looking like I might be actually on like a either a peninsula or an island. So if I am on an island, I'll quickly expand. Let's confirm that. Have him move down that tile next turn. So now, because this is locked in, this will remain a good viable growth setup. This will allow me to grow quickly. And if I do need the extra culture, I can just pop a fella there. So I'll do that once I'm at 3 population. Interesting. So a small connection here. So settling here will be important. So forward settle here, and then potentially another settle there. Bandar Brunei, and first to meet. So that's actually quite good. Okay, so I have this south island to myself. This is actually quite good. That means I'll settle another city here. Maybe put I would say maybe a campus here with a harbor nearby. Or, let's see here. I don't see a lot of fish here, so it won't likely be a very high adjacency bonus harbor. But Bandar Brunei is nice. Trade posts in foreign cities provide 1 gold to your trade routes passing through or going through the city. So that could be useful later in the game as I kind of develop trade routes, so not a bad thing. What I'll do is soon be getting that. I'm going to take this guy back up and start working on settling this region. Skip turn. So not bad having a little bit of extra gold income. Doesn't hurt. So it'll be a good kind of culture build.
Reconnaissance units.
Bring him that way. And skip turn for now since I'm being blocked by that warrior. And back up north. I'll go ahead and let's see here. If I were to focus on production, go here. It would be 9 turns, 12 turns, 6 turns. I'm likely only going to need 1 scout, really, because the thing is with this position, what it feels like is I've already explored an area. Of course, I'm on the south part of the map, as I can tell by this little bit of tundra here. So that's a bit of a tell for me to know that I'm on south, and I would need to explore north. So that is a little bit of information for me to work with. I will, however, start trying to settle in some of these areas here. Also, it'll help just mitigate the concern of barbarian camps. So I'll get started on this. And I'll go ahead and start making a focus towards production.
Who deserves more credit?
Okay. It's actually not a bad roll. I wasn't expecting this particular one to be like really, really solid, but definitely not bad. So, with this particular setup in mind, I'll go ahead and I can go for this, but honestly, this would be slow. I'd rather go ahead and start really working on that writing, get some campuses going. You know, this would be a nice campus position somewhere around here. Um, a viable campus. See, I'm gonna have to basically create adjacency bonuses through some of these districts. So I'm kind of having to take a look here. Let's see here. So the mountain will be definitely useful for that. If I were to put, see, if there's fish around this area, I would say this would likely be a good viable position for a harbor, but still okay, and not that big of a deal at the current phase of the game. Mogadishu.
Our city
I was not the first to meet them, so that tells me there's another civ nearby. So they're likely a civ over in this region, so that tells me I need to keep that scout and just keep that scout very open towards this area. But having some extra gold is not a bad thing. I'll unlock that. Okay, so it just automatically locks that. What I'll do is go ahead and force that to be a 1 turn just so I can quickly boost that. That'll make more of a difference. Okay, so that tells me I need to deal with the barb camp that likely spawned near here. There's not yet. Also, what's the yield here? 3 production, 1 gold. Okay, so that's actually a pretty good tile. This will actually not be a bad harbor here, because then what I can do is, let's see, if I put a harbor here, I could settle here, and that'll be good, because that'll be a +4 if I'm not mistaken, because of the adjacency bonus from the city center. This fella will come up from the south, try to kind of hold this fella back. I'll go ahead and take him off there, bring that down to 8 turns. Okay, so there's not a lot on this east side, so it's likely means that this island connects up in the north here. So that tells me what I need to know. I need to start really focusing on settlers quickly. It also means I need to deal with this little scout fella here, and that way I can start really basically enforcing early game growth. Settling here will be good because it'll be a good city kind of just to kind of space out, and then here another city, and then really kind of make another city here. Likely put a city, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so probably a city right here. That way that can be a nice trade route city, and that way I can start pushing trade routes through the south end. And having the extra movement's actually not that bad, because that means I can stay close to the scout, and I can not have to worry too much about the scout pushing away too much. That is hungry. Okay, no, I'm not going to give you my capital information.
Enacting new.
It is not wisdom.
And I will go some faith. I would like to get a pantheon earlier. And quick tip is right-clicking, and that'll get rid of those little notifications. I would say foreign trade is going to be more useful here. There aren't a lot of threats. You know, Hungary is more to the north, and his because it's turn 15, this likely has moved quite a bit. So I'm going to continue exploring this area, just pick up information where and when I can. Pottery is going to be okay here. Let's see here. Yeah, that's fine. And then getting early suzerainty, if that's the word for it, will be good. I'll go ahead and attack that. The earlier I can kill that, the better. This unit's been damaged, so that tells me there is likely a barb camp potentially over here, so it's just something for me to keep a note of. Yeah, early Pantheon will be good. There are quite a numerous amount of plantations that I can mix, so the plantation one would not be bad. Mines would be pretty good because there's 1, 2, 3. That's going to be kind of a tricky one, but like if I settle a city up here, I'll go ahead and set there. Only problem is that's a volcano, so kind of a risky settle, but you know, if I were to settle here, I could actually take better advantage of that. So let me do that now. And settle on the banana tile. That's better. That way I'm not at direct risk, and I can take advantage of some of those bonuses and yields that'll occur potentially when a disaster occurs. So this is not bad. So this is likely this is fortifying, meaning this is probably where there is a barb camp. So that tells me a little bit about what's around me. So not bad. This is actually not a bad start to work with. Kind of an easy start. Okay. As I'd expect, not the first one to find it, since of course Hungary is right here. This will be where Hungary is, so that way I know he's going to be to my direct north-northwest. So that's not too bad. Got a few city locations kind of planned out here. So not terribly bad for a start. What I'm going to do is I am going to send this guy out and just keep an eye on this. Because once I get the settler down, I'm immediately going to focus on trying to get as much production as possible. So if I were to put there, that's 3 turns. Let me just try to get this settler out a little faster. I need that settler down. Early expansion could be really key here in Deity because civs will start with the additional settlers and also army to work with. So it can make things a little tricky in those circumstances. Go ahead and move them up and move them across. Okay. It's good that I have an economic one early game that's kind of to myself. Trigger Eureka for sailing. So sailing, that'll be found a city on the coast. So what I might do is, because of that, I may consider getting an early city here and then do a 3rd city here, 4th city, and then a 5th city here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start working on settling here. This will be a good settle. This will give me a nice bit of production and an amenity, and as well as a little bit of gold production. So not bad. I don't need to worry about making a mine here. It would be nice, but also can consume a builder charge. So actually, I may consider putting that there just for the better benefit, because that's a better tile I can work. So if I go to 9 hotkey, okay. So this is actually not a bad position. I would rather actually settle here now that I'm looking at it. And that'll be a better settle. Because I will still get the adjacency bonus from the city center if I'm not mistaken. But the position is a little friendlier to work with. I'm going to keep this guy pinned here. Reason being is the more I pin him, the less likely he's going to try to take a settler. I settle on the coast here, and this will mean I'll get the boost there for that. So, good positioning there. Got the boost for writing, so this is not bad. I'm going to continue on. And let's go ahead and move them west. Really start expanding my search out. Once I get more cities going, I'll likely make another scout. I'm not super concerned at the moment, because really what I'll do is, with this much coastline, I may consider doing a naval game, since 1 extra movement point to all units also, if I'm not mistaken, applies to naval units. And then promoting units and so on, that'll also be useful for just general movement and logistics for military planning. Okay, so they're going here. I'm going to bring them southwest. Prioritize growth here, so bring them back to here. Get that growth going again. That way I can get closer to some of the essentials I need, so that way I can quickly and very quickly build a campus and really start getting that growth going. What I will do now is, because I'm not in a majorly threatening situation, I will bring him... I know the scout's here, so I'll keep that scout pinned. I'm going to see what's around here, just in case there is a barb camp still around. Chinchetti. Let's see here, of course. So he's going to be getting early faith, early science, and early gold. So this would mean likely that he's going to make a some holy sites, most likely. Extra faith. Yeah, so this will definitely be a faith game for Matthias. So that tells me that don't really worry about the religious game, because that's not going to be really a viable option. He's got more advantages here. If I started with a religious unit, that would open up more of a religious game, but that's not too big of a deal. Let's see here. It's going to be 2 time expensive turns. The production cost of that's going to be a lot for the amount of production I have available. More growth will help settle that faster, but really the thing is that once I get early empire, that'll be more useful, because then I can plug that in and really start focusing on that expansion phase. So no problem there. Discover a second continent. I'll be working on that. And what I will do is I will, once I get to where boosting this will complete it, I'll just simply switch over to this, so that way I can remain a little efficient. Also, eventually getting Ilkum is not bad. Agog is really more going to be useful if he declares early war on me and settles up, forward settles and pushes down. Like, see, he's already got a settlement here, but it's not directly threatening yet because he's not super close to my area yet. So really not a major problem at the moment, but it will potentially manifest into an issue if I leave it. So 131 gold. It's 200 gold for a builder, 440 for a settler. Okay, so that tells me is that I'm going to go ahead and, based off time, I'm going to potentially consider getting this going. That may not be bad. Granary's good for housing, but I'm not really concerned about that. May go for that just to get that early growth a little bit. Doesn't hurt. I'm going to move him up 1 just so I can confirm what's around here. Just so I know what's around. The capital is safe. Okay, so that's a mistake of that. That I'm going to go ahead and kill. Take care of that threat, so it means it's less likely to spawn another barb camp if there was one originally. And just keep pushing on north. So the earlier I find another continent, the better, so that means then, I can eventually get a trade route going. I can put a trade route from here to here and get a couple extra gold while I'm at it, so it does not hurt. So in a couple turns I'll have that. No problem. So overall, not bad. This is an okay start. Definitely had worse starts in the games I played so far. Move him north. Okay. And them south and settle.
May I make a suggestion?
Let's go ahead. Okay, so he's going to be more here, is what it looks like. Yep. So I'll go ahead and start pushing around this area, get some more information. And do-do-do. I will save up for a builder. I'd rather buy a builder outright. Reason being is just the time of it. I'd rather spend some of that time getting this going. This is a good growth tile. What I'll do is bring that to 9 turns. I would rather get that early growth sooner, so that way I can go ahead and really start picking up earlier. I'll go ahead and delete that. Now the thing is, there's not likely going to be a lot of use for this warrior, so I'll bring this warrior south so that way it just keeps some intel around and also mitigate the concern of a barb camp spawning, because eventually when one does, if one spawns here, not as much of a threat because there of course are 2 city-states, which means they do have some troops nearby. What this does also do is also means that if I can kind of keep a barb camp here, I can come over, kill one, get the boost for it for, I think it's military tradition. Yeah, clear a barb camp. So that'll definitely be useful. So in the circumstance that it becomes necessary, that allows me to do that. I just keep pushing on north. Not a lot of amenities. You know, for me, this is definitely not bad, though, for the marble, because the building, because I remember, I don't remember if it's 15 or 30%. If I go to F9, go to, let's see here, and go to, let's see here, industry. It'll be this one. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. It'll be marble. So 30% production towards buildings. This will be very, very nice to have in the capital. This will just make the capital really nice and viable. Structurally, will have a lot of what it needs, and that's not going to be a problem. So I'm okay with that. And move this fella here. Just keep that covered so that way I can settle there and not have as many concerns. Move there. That's Kupe. Okay.
Kupe po kai moa nau. Kai te whakatata mai koe ki tō te Māori nohonga. Tēnā, ko ai koe.
So not too bad. I'll exchange some information. I'll go ahead and, let's see, retains natural features in their empire, builds national parks, likes those who respect the environment, dislikes those who treat the planet poorly. I'll go ahead and send a delegation. And then I'll give him 2 gold. So he's got a nice little gift. Of course, first thing, of course, is unfriendly, but those meetings will help. First impression, of course, is -5. Not the best, though, but delegation-friendly meeting. So I believe the friendly meeting has to do with the fact I had met him with a scout, not with a barbarian. Sorry, with the warrior. Those are things that the civs around will basically pick up on, and they're not very happy towards that. So that tells me that if he's got a warrior here, his... Okay. Okay. I don't think I was expecting that, but interesting settle there, Kupe. Interesting settle. Also, the problem is that Kupe is going to be able to pick up... Well, I don't know if the AI does this, but I know as a player, if you get Kupe, what you can do is, because you have access to ocean and coast tiles, or rather coast tiles and ocean tiles, you can really start to explore early, pick up some city-states, and then get those early bonuses. The AI version, I don't know if they would do that, but it's just something that I have to consider as a potential strategy. So let's see here. What's the train a galley? So I'm going to be eventually doing that, so I'll get boost for that. That'll give me a little extra gold yield. So no problem. And I've got 2 here. What I will do is, once I have enough culture per turn to be able to quickly afford maybe mysticism, I can just pop suzerainty into that, and that won't be a problem. Or what I can do eventually is, once I get... Let's see, charismatic leader, actually diplomatic lead. What I'll do is I'll throw an envoy or a double envoy into Fez, get a little extra science per turn, and then eventually get a scientist. That's not really viable right now. That's not going to happen for a while, but just something as an option. Okay. So definitely not a terribly bad start. Our delegation came from Hungary. So I will ship this guy up north. Because that means there's more land here and potentially a connecting island, so I'll go ahead and just take care of that. What I might do actually is finish up with the scout, check this area here, and just loop them back around, or just keep them going around here and just kind of look around everything. Campus will be good. It'd be nice to have the campus going down soon. Let's see here. Just 2 food, 1 gold. So some of these fishing tiles aren't bad, but the thing is that they're a little further away. They're not as close to the coastline. I would prefer if more of them were closer to the coast, because what I'll do is I'll settle maybe another small city here. You know, that'll not be a bad settle, just so I can get a harbor here. Or like probably actually even better yet, put a harbor here, get a +4 adjacency bonus. That'll eventually plug in with the car, that'll be +8. So that can definitely be useful. Very surprised by this settle, though.
We have recently gained...
Writing means sharing.
Okay. So I do find it a priority to take care of this barb scout, so that way I can deal with that sooner than later. Now I'll go ahead and start working on animal husbandry. I do have quite a bit here that I can go ahead and start working on, so really not a big deal, but important to go ahead and start capitalizing. Okay, so lots of +1s. Some nice +2s here. So what I might do is, that's because of the reef. Let's see, what's the thing for harbors? So it has to be adjacent to land. Okay. So let's see here. This is a guaranteed +4 right here. If I put this here, not a concern with the sea level rising as long as I'm not overdoing it with coal power plants. If I put a +2 here, put a harbor here, that, if I remember correctly, does give adjacency bonuses to a campus, and that'll add. So go ahead and buy that. So 1, 2, 3, and a harbor here, it'd actually be a quite good harbor. So I'll get that set up here. That way I lock the production cost. I will do the same for here. I need to consider where is a viable option. Adjacent to the city is okay. It's a 2 food, 1 production tile. It's hills. Let's see here. That'll be... I'm going to just do this one for now. Reason being is I'm not wanting to overdo the cost, and I'll pick that queued up. Hungary declared war on Maori. It's probably because he wanted to take the builder there. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And I'm going to move this guy west. I want to take a quick look at what's around here. Get some early information. This will go back down here. Good. So I realize I kind of blundered a little bit. I'd meant to switch that up earlier, but it is what it is. And that's nothing I'm going to reload over. It's an unfortunate mistake, but I'm not going to freak out over it. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's much more north here. So we'll just take a look west and start checking around here. Of course, I know that the scout is here, so the scout will probably go to here. That means if I move here, I won't be able to cross. Yep, scout goes there. I'll move here to cut him off, so that way he has less movement. So at least it likely means that one unit's going to be able to attack it. Skip turn. just take care of that. Get some more XP on this guy. Wouldn't hurt to have a nice little level up. Okay, cool. So get a little XP on the scout too, because that'll come up, and then I'll pop that. Okay, so overall, not a bad situation.
If there are no dogs in heaven.
1, 2, 3. So I do have access to some horses here. Ah, not bad here. This is actually good. This will be a good tile here to work with. Amenities. 7 turns. So if I bring that to 5 turns, that'll go to 5. That's a bit misleading. The thing about that is the reason is because Coupe has access to shipbuilding and sailing, so not majorly concerning because he of course has the access to quadriremes and galleys. Not to be super worried about for a naval game, early game. Obviously he's going to be a threat, but if you're mainly playing a coastal or land game, it's not too bad if you're kind of further back from him. So I'll go ahead and start moving this guy west. Okay, so what I'll do is that's likely going to attack me, or it's going to move back. I'll put him here and fortify, and I'll be able to take both of those units down and pick up a nice little, well, a nice little bonus here. Maybe get lucky and get a relic. Wouldn't hurt. Because that way, then I could just take off that other, I could take off that card here, and then replace that with the production card, the urban planning. So now that I have animal husbandry, I will go ahead and pick up, let's see. Harvesting stone wouldn't be bad, so I can get that going. And go back to here. That way I can just get a boost to the build here. Get that sooner. And then should be a good position. It's definitely not bad. And getting close to +6. That could be quite useful. Okay, so this is likely going to introduce me to another continent, so move them further up. I will fortify. That way I can fortify in place, and that'll start tacking away. Of course, my fortification will allow me to get some added, added damage against him. And we'll go from there. Almost a backhanded compliment is that we're true friends with smaller civilizations. I'm like, I'm not going to be small forever. So I'm going to keep them fortified, even though it spawned another one, because there probably is a barb camp above that. Who knows? This is right at the map border. Keep them fortified. Hoping that there's another continent here that connects, so that way I can get that boosted while I'm working on this. I'll hard complete this. Yeah, so there's, of course, there is something above that. There's barb camp up there, so. Just keep on fortifying there, fella. Okay. And I'll go ahead and finish up in a couple turns here. And that'll be the end of the first video.
Civilizations have uncovered new technologies.
Continue fortifying. Not terribly concerned about the Dark Age at the moment. I'll be more focusing on a good sized normal age and during the medieval era. Really just getting the basic growth going is more of a concern right now. It's 10 turns. It's a bit of an awkward start because of my location, like in relation to other civs. The only 2 points I've gotten is from meeting these two fellas, so not a whole lot that I've been able to do. In a couple turns, I'll be able to buy a builder. Campus will be getting started soon, so that's going to be nice. I don't have that many marsh tiles. There's only, one there, so let me actually go to... Yeah, that's all that's around. That's not really going to be viable. Great Bath, not really a big deal either. So I'll go ahead, yeah. I'll go from there.
As our civic knowledge grows,
Without craftsmanship,
So there's a river, so that means there's more land south of here. Likely a tundra. Not really a major concern to go for Government Plaza. Not a major concern to go for this. I will, however, start working on this. It's tempting to go for this. Getting more science really is more of a concern. Yeah, I'll just buy a builder. Small little trick I learned from watching a few Civ YouTubers is you fortify, move them, and it should be able to promote. Oh, that's right. I can promote and fortify in the same turn. That's right. Normally, there's a trick with general civs is that typically what will happen is that if you fortify, you can't heal or you can't promote at the same time. But what you can do is you fortify, you cancel your fortification, and then you promote. And it remains fortified during that process, is my understanding. So a lot of hills here, additional movement, that'll help more, and I stay fortified as well. And also getting that means that I can focus on the other side of that tree and getting a lot of XP with that scout. So not terribly harmful here. Keep moving them, skip turn. I have enough to go ahead and purchase a builder. That'll go to here, and that'll get that mine going. That'll add some production and also just allow that to eventually start harvesting. I'll put a farm here. Make a nice little farm triangle here. Maybe, let's see here. Yeah, nice little farm triangle wouldn't hurt. I will fortify that warrior, though.
my liege, the more
One production. Fortify. See, the benefit of fortification means it's a passive strategy, but is that you don't need to worry about getting attacked so much. It basically allows you to maintain maximum defensive attack values and remain strong, so that way if they attack you, you're in a better position and you can remain defensively sound versus attacking them and being the one that's at a disadvantage. So very, very useful. I'm glad that is a mechanic within Civ that is very helpful when it comes to heavy amounts of barbs, because I'm not going to be able to clear this barb camp out with them spawning more, but I can move them up and fortify, and then kind of just keep cutting them off, because the more I cut their movement off, the less they'll be able to spawn more. So overall, not too bad of a start. Finish up this next turn, and let's say that's not too bad. Perfect. So promotion is available on that unit. That'll actually help bring that unit back up to health. Finally. Okay, so I would say the culture bonus from pastures would be good, because the pastures with haciendas can be very useful. Like an hacienda here, an hacienda there can be very nice. Yeah. I can actually do haciendas on both sides of this. And that can actually be super useful. Hacienda there. And that would be an excellent setup right there. I'd be very, very happy with that. I will fortify, and I will promote. Typically, the better side to work with here in general situations is Battlecry. Really, Tortoise, I only tend to find, and please, if there's ever a situation where anyone can correct me, is that this would be more useful this side, particularly for Tortoise, is if you see a lot of archers and you know you're going to be in a ranged combat type of situation, but otherwise this is really the best. Yeah, see, that's a lot of damage to be able to do. I'll fortify, I'll finish the fortification this turn, get hit, and then attack them. That way I minimize my damage. I will take... Faith isn't really a concern here. I'm not too worried about that. I would much rather get the pasture bonus here. I'll go ahead and make a farm here just so that way I can boost my my city growth. And if need be, this unit gets weak and isn't able to maintain combat effectiveness, I can just bop them back and get them basically bugged out. Because of the promotion with the hills, that'll be useful in some of this area. I am friendly with Coupe, so that's actually not too bad. Ah, interesting. So it actually killed off that keep them fortified. And interesting. So it did kill off that warrior, so that's actually a good thing. This guy is getting nice and beefy. Could eventually develop a farm triangle here. That's a +5 food tile, so that's going to be very nice. I'll go ahead and lock that because that's just very, very nice, efficient, just very good for city growth. So capital is actually not bad. I will go ahead, and now it's time I go ahead and lock that. If I move that to there, that'll go to 11 turns. I'm not going to gain any growth. So really getting a builder charge down here wouldn't hurt. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and just not worry about finding the second continent. I'd rather get some trade routes going. It's going to be more important. And I need to remember to declare friendship with them.
Your Grace.
When wasteful war shall statues overturn, every nation lives but...
I will go ahead and build a trader. And I'll go ahead and get this builder down here. I'd rather make this a bit more efficient since it's a small offshoot city. Yeah, okay. So this, it's interestingly enough, this is all kind of one continent, so turns out that wouldn't be super viable if I were to have gone... See, I don't know what's over here, so there may be some connecting land, but not likely. This looks like it's mostly all ocean here, with Coupe making a very high, a very, very, very high production, or high food yield island here. So it's likely got some other stuff around here that I'm not seeing, maybe some other land, but interesting location. That's boosted to 8 turns, so that's good. You know, industry definitely could be useful, but I need to make a trade-off first for that to be viable. I'll go ahead and start getting to work on astrology. I want to go ahead and get that celestial navigation. That way I can build harbors. A governor title wouldn't hurt, so I'll go ahead and get that going so that way I can get that taken care of. Actually, you know, no, I'll go early. I'll just finish that one out. I will tank one more hit, but then I'll back him out. And I keep forgetting to declare friendship. Oops. First thing I'll do.
Ha!
It's 5 gold per turn. 8, so that's a much better deal. I'll go ahead and do that. Start boosting my economy. Back them off a little bit, start fortifying. And I'll pop that back down. That's actually not a really terrible situation. I have the potential to make a settler. I'd rather get this trade route going, because then I can ship a trader down here and move them up. And that'll just start to really make this whole process a little bit better. I don't really have the option to... Yeah.
We are now ready to...
Governor titles, so...
It is equally...
Easy choice typically is, of course, Bengala for, you know, librarian. That never hurts for growth because this is going to be a nice growing city. While that is true... Fortify for another turn. Yeah, while that is true, you know, the thing is that if I go Bengala, takes away from Magnus if I do Groundbreaker here and go ahead and take the yield there. But this also means I could finally go ahead and pop that. That'll be really nice. And eventually I'll start getting trade-outs going. I'll pop that for some extra gold per turn. It's actually not bad. I'll start focusing on early Empire. Extra gold never hurts. Once I make this city, this will be where Reina sits because of the foreign trade routes I can work with. This will be more useful to work with here. I'll go ahead and just pop Bengala into Pagoda.
Our governor.
I want to deal with the scout first. The scout's going to run away, but I'd rather deal with them first and get that taken care of than leave them. The extra production cities doesn't hurt.
The time has come to choose which of history.
Not too worried about the Dark Age for this one because I'll be able to fix that up. And I'm already starting off with a nice little bit of bonuses here. Not really greatest thing in the world. It's useful, but it's also like kind of one of those situations where if I were to do that, I can't actually grow as much as I'd like to, so really not that big of a deal. Don't have a holy site. This could be good, but the problem is I wouldn't be able to heal. So that completely subverts the use of that that whole situation. I'll block him off so that way he's blocked over here, and I'll just cut him there. I will go ahead and let's take a look. So, mining a resource. I'll likely be getting that. Build an iron mine. I'll likely go for that. So I'll go ahead and start working on that. That way, if I do get lucky in the next so many turns and happen across that, I wouldn't be in a bad position. Plug him out. Actually, I can quick check here and free inquiry.
We have full.
7 combat strength to a unit. Passive. Okay, so that's actually pretty useful. Wow, okay. Okay, that is actually very powerful. Wow. Holy cow, okay. So that can basically turn this scout combat strength wise, like I'm gonna go ahead and just pop that into this warrior. I'm gonna make this a super warrior. Make this dude a tank. Wow, that is very powerful. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and save. I'm very, very happy though, as a start. You know, this is just a nice basic game going, just that way I can get used to some of the other mechanics of a military build. I have done like a diplomatic victory, not initially intentionally, it was more of, because I was doing that with Ethiopia, so I was doing a religious build, but it kind of turned into a diplomatic victory. And I've worked with Coupe on more of a culture setup and Navy. So what I'll do is I'll focus more on the general military and kind of science build here, but just something I can work on. Their science return's pretty limited as well, so I can take advantage of that eventually. All right, well everyone, I want to thank you for your time, and that was quite a bit of fun. So I'll go ahead and exit out of this match here. And soon we'll be ready to get started on another episode. All right, everyone have a wonderful day, and you all take care.